But of course, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. COVID was very difficult on many of our families, and we had to pivot our clinical piece to doing everything via phone, which of course isn't ideal either. But sometimes just getting that phone call to say, we're here for you, and if there's anything we can do, please call us, can make a big difference. So during COVID, yes, we did have to shut down for a little bit, but we quickly realized that it was important to open back up. And of course, following all safety procedures that we possibly could. Of course, it's not 100%, but so far so good, knock on wood. But we understand that has created additional challenges for everybody. So we really did our best to ensure that we can offer as much programming and services as possible. And that unfortunately did have to pivot mostly to virtual, but we are excited that we are back to in-person programming. So there is that ability to attend support groups in person, education sessions, health promotion, and of course our day program as well.
That's really good. You've mentioned a lot about the virtual programs, which is what you ended up doing. I think for sure at the end of the video, I'd like to be able to post contacts with the virtual programming, whether there are some people in our community, and we will get it out via newsletter and on our Facebook page and all of that, because I think it's a great idea. And I didn't know they were going on. So it's good to get all this information. So yeah, that's great. Thanks, Jessica. So you talked a little bit about person-centered care. Did we speak yet about person-centered activation?
So a little bit. So again, that activation piece, we did mention it, is about designing activities that are based on the person's likes and dislikes. So you had said, we must do a lengthy intake process of getting all that information. And one of the first key things we do when we meet with a family, and we involve the entire family, of course, is get what we call a personhood done. And that personhood document contains, again, what were their past occupations? What did they love to do? Did they have animals that were really important to them in their lives? Dogs, cats, you name it. Is there anything that triggers them? Is there trauma? We really try to get to know the individual. So when we do have them in programming, we can be aware of what might be triggering and what can really motivate them. So, even our recreation therapy was designed to really replace traditional respite in the sense that this is one-on-one activation designed specific to that individual receiving it. So it's not just someone going into the home who might not know them and know what their likes or dislikes are. Our staff, it's that consistent individual going into the home of the person living with dementia each week and providing that activation based on their personhood. And it's not just sitting there watching TV. We get them busy. We get them physical, and we have those social conversations, and we challenge them, and we really try to keep them activated in that sense. So that's one thing I'm very, very proud of, is that our organization really focuses on person-centered care. And through that, it's the activation piece.
That's great. So let's talk about the people who are joining us here on the video, and who this, we're going to be putting it on YouTube and on our Facebook page, and people who don't have signs of dementia, but want to keep their mind active and healthy. You talked about the social and the physical and the cognitive and games and doing things that you like, but if somebody wants to be a little bit more specific, and if I'll reference your term about activation and mind activation and all that, how would they go about that? Like somebody who wanted to stay active and all of that. We talked about lists and writing it down. Is there anything else about how to incorporate everything and do it as part of a lifestyle right now before perhaps it might or might not be needed?
Yes, absolutely. So I understand that some people might be reluctant to come to the Alzheimer's Society to access programming, especially without a diagnosis, right? But there are a number of groups in communities, whether it's a social group or, people who get together and play cards each week, or people who go walking each week. And there's no saying we can't start our own group as well. I think it's really just about trying to maintain and challenge ourselves. So maintain what we do have. So keep those social groups and dates and coffee dates, and have those conversations when you're going to the grocery store and meeting someone. Really trying to challenge ourselves and get ourselves out of our comfort zone can really help mitigate those risks again. But there's no harm in saying, you know what, I'm going to call some friends this week and we're going to go have a walking group. You're staying social and physical, which are key components. So again, it doesn't have to necessarily be at the Alzheimer's Society, but I do highly recommend that we try to challenge ourselves. So, you know, going to the local pool and taking swimming lessons, or doing swimming groups, or, you know, simple little things like that. And every community has some type of group activation, whether it's with the Alzheimer's Society or not. But I highly recommend that you find out what is available in your community. And even if it's outside of your comfort zone, challenging yourself can make a big difference.
That's good. So yeah, it's really important about contacts in our community, and part of the funding for New Horizons Seniors Program is about finding where the gaps are in our community, and making sure of perhaps maybe programs to come to the island and in our area a little bit more. You did mention that there were a couple of contacts on Manitoulin and Manitowaning. Can you just mention their names and some of the programs that they do there?
Yes, of course. So we have two amazing staff on Manitoulin Island. One is Alison Sloss. So she is our first link care navigator. So she works within our clinical team. Alison's job is, or she's mostly responsible for system navigation. So the second someone gets connected with our organization from Manitoulin Island, Alison gets assigned to their file. Her responsibility is to help families navigate the healthcare system, which we all know can be very difficult to do. She helps put them into programs and services that are appropriate for where they are on the dementia journey. And she's really that central support system. So any questions you may have, any concerns you may have, Alison is really your go-to. She is wonderful. She's been with us for quite a few years. So that's Alison. Now we also have Megan Cairns, who works with us. She works as our recreation therapy staff. So she does activation, both one-on-one and group programming. So they're both actually located in our Manitowaning office. So our Manitowaning office is right underneath the family health team, and the two of them work out of there. We also do drop-in center activities there and support groups. We also use the VON space in Mindamoya to run groups as well as support groups. So there's a number of different group programming that's available. And we try to circulate around the island because, of course, we know it's geographically a large space. So we try to move around to accommodate as many people as possible. We also will be opening up a day program one afternoon a week in Gore Bay in the next couple months. So we're really trying to get to as many places on the island as possible. Of course, with two staff, that can be very difficult at times, but we are really trying to do our best and try to make our programs and services as accessible as possible.
That's great. So we'll get those numbers from you where people can, and the person's name, Alison and Megan, and get the numbers that people can contact, and we'll send it out to our community and advertise it. So that's really good. So anything else you want to add right now before we go into a question period?
No, I would like to really thank you for the opportunity to discuss our programs and services that we do have on Manitoulin Island. I know it's never enough, and it never seems enough. And believe you me, coming from a place where I advocate for our clients and our staff all the time, it's just never enough. But we definitely try to do our best, and I'm super proud of the work that we do. And if there's anyone out there who just wants more information or has any questions, we always have someone available to answer them.